Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Duthie. Beth did a great job of introducing me. I really appreciate that. I like to describe myself as being actively involved with the teaching of CSL and its messages for the last 6.5 years. Now, some of you in the audience have spent decades studying CSL. So 6.5 years may not seem like much. There's more to this confession. 48 plus years ago, my wife introduced me to religious science and CSL. So for 42 years, CSL was working on me. You might say I'm a real slow study, but I got there, okay? So today I pose the question, what's in your toolbox? And this is very fitting because today's our last day in this facility and we're moving to the new facility. Now we might have thought this was staged because we're looking for volunteers for the new facility. We want to know what you can paint or do. That wasn't part of it at all. I picked this topic long before I knew this was the last day we were going to be here. So, but I think it's only fair if I ask you what's in your toolbox that I share what's been in my toolbox. So without further ado, let's get started. This is one of my toolboxes. It's a small toolbox. Let's see if we can get it open. So, imagine this small nail as an opportunity or circumstance in my life as I grew up. I grew up on a farm in Washington State. There were lots of nails, lots of hay to get in the barn, lots of cattle. So this nail represents opportunity and circumstance in my life. And the way I dealt with this, to make this a reality, of course, I got a hammer. And this is the way I treated everything. When you're young on a farm and you're learning, you learn and you learn, but you learn you get to, hit the nail on the head. And what does that take? It takes concentration and it takes focus. Because if you don't concentrate and you don't focus, you do what? You get off track, let's put it that way, okay? So this worked out really well for me through my younger years. And then one day, you can imagine what happened. The nail got bigger. Okay? And so what did I do? I reached for the same hammer. And as I was doing that, I took a look at this nail. And what do you think? I have two choices. I can hit this nail on the head many, 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 many times. Or, what do you think? Get a bigger hammer. What a good group. So we get a bigger hammer. And everything gets back on track. Life is good. Swimmingly good, you would say. I better turn the page or I'm going to lose my space. But the facts are, that's the way I did things. I was focused, I had a narrow focus, I worked on everything, and I hit the nail on the head as often as I could. It takes a lot of intensity to do that. It takes a lot of involvement in myself. So, with all my experience, I did a lot of this. And then again, One day, along comes a bigger nail. As I got older, now we can all relate to getting older, so that's what happened. So let's pause here for a minute and look at this, because you can see what transpires. I have another toolbox, one that I carry with me every single day, and you do too. Mine's invisible. I don't talk much about it, but I have it. And in that toolbox, one of the most important tools I use, and I didn't realize this, when I was driving all those nails in my younger years, I was using this tool, and that tool is called judgment. So, we're taught at a very early age how to judge. It's pervasive in our society. Our parents try to teach us what's right and what's wrong. When we go to school, we get grades. That's a form of judgment. If you're a sports participant, if you're a sports fan, you get evaluated. The league gets evaluated. The team gets evaluated. The players get evaluated. The plays get evaluated. Everything's judged. And if you experienced and survived high school, you were judged. I think you'll all agree with that. So, when you walked in the room today, you were judging. When I got up here to talk, you were judging. If you're awake, you're in judgment. Game on. That's the way I look at it. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. I used to think I could just turn that off. Boy, was I mistaken. That was a disaster. So, but what's really important is what we do with that judgment. And I have to defer to this because this is precise words. And the first word is ideally. If we can assume a broader perspective by intentionally suspending judgment and assuming a stance of impartiality, reminding ourselves as best we can, simply observe what is unfolding, including your reactions, we can achieve a level of mindfulness. Well, remember what I said? Ideally. Well, that wasn't for me at all. In my early years, I second-guessed everything. I was worried about everything. It was really difficult. And here's another part of this reading there. I often got walked into an automatic reaction. I was not even aware of this reaction. And often it had no objective basis. These judgments dominated my life. They increased my intensity. They narrowed my focus. It was extremely challenging. But as I got older, and again, we can all agree that happens to all of us, the hammers didn't seem to work so well. In fact, I wasn't even sure the hammer would work. And you know what else happened? As I was focusing on that one nail, there wasn't just one nail. There were lots of opportunities every single day. And so all these decisions were being made, and I wasn't even sure they were the right decisions. I wasn't even sure I had the right hammer. So maybe some of you have been in that same position with so many nails, so little time, so much judgment, and so much complexity. So now you're asking, well, Jim, you have something in your toolbox that you think you can deal with that? And the answer is, I think I do. But I have to tell you that this tool didn't just come in an aha moment. It evolved for me over time. And I want to share that with you. Just a few short years ago, Jim had a thought. And the thought was, I should take the foundations class. Now, I don't know why I had that thought, but I had that thought. Maybe it was CSL working on me all those years. So this is before CSL Livermore even existed. So I looked around for the class, and I had three choices. I had San Jose, I had Oakland, and I had Concord. All of which, for me, were geographically challenging, especially when I didn't know what the course was really about. So I did with the hammer. I didn't do anything. I just let it sit there. And lo and behold, I got this call from Reverend Harriet. Of all things, she was going to teach a class right here in Livermore. So I took that class. Actually, Susan and I took that class. This class was invaluable. It was priceless for me. It can truly enrich your life by putting you in a position where you really can understand the divine. It becomes the foundation in life for everything that comes after. Okay? And just to put it really simply, stuff starts to make sense when you take foundations. Okay, one key element of that class is as many of you know, are how to pray. What are the elements of how to pray? And all the years before this, well, we prayed, but I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know what that meant. I kind of made it up, and I wasn't really sure if it worked or not. So, but the point is, when I went to this class, when you take a class like this, we're all very busy. So it is a class. There are assignments, and you may not really involve yourself with those assignments. Well, in this particular case, because I had that thought, I really paid attention. I actually applied myself in that class. And I began not only to learn, but I had a feeling. I felt the feelings for what was being taught in that class. And that, to me, was really the essence of everything. It was the beginning of this tool I'm talking about. But this tool's forming now, right? So be patient with me here. So let's jump to August of 2018. We were in Palm Desert, California on vacation. We went to the CSL Palm Desert. We went to 2 services. Susan likes to go to the bookstore. She likes to shop with the book. So I find myself in the bookstore, walking around, looking at things. I don't need any books. I have lots of books to read. And maybe some of you are in that situation. You're just kind of browsing. Well, there on the shelf was a book. It was written by Dr. Tom Costa. Now, that's not surprising because Dr. Tom actually founded CSL Palm Desert, so there are several books on the shelf from him, and I have several of those books. But this book in particular, and by the way, several years before that, I had the opportunity to meet one-on-one with Dr. Tom for several hours. He was a great guy, and he was small in stature and larger in life in his enthusiasm for life. And one of the things I like about Dr. Tom, is I like his books because they're to the point and they're short. So I bought this book. So now maybe some of you have been in a position where you're not really looking for a book, and you see something and you buy it and you take it home and you put it on the shelf, and it's still on the shelf, and it's still on the shelf, and it never gets opened. Well, for whatever reason, when we came back, 3 days later, I read that book. I have it here someplace. Just a second. That book was called Excuse Me While I Call God. Now, you can say that, whatever the term is, excuse me while I call it, or just excuse me while. And in this book, very interestingly enough, he's talking in a practitioner session to somebody that doesn't know what a treatment is. Now, maybe some of you are new to CSL, and you're not familiar with what a treatment is. It's synonymous with prayer. And we in our CSL speak, we use the word treatment all the time, then we say prayer, and then we say treatment. But there's a real process to a treatment, and there's some steps into it. And Dr. Tom laid that out. So this tool is still forming, by the way. So just a week later, the biggest nail in my life occurred. I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I had a tumor on my pituitary gland. Now, everybody's heard about a pituitary gland, but let me tell you where it is. It's in the center of your head. It's at the base of your brain. It's 3/4 of an inch in diameter, and it does an awful lot of stuff. I mean, it's really important. I could spell pituitary, but I didn't know what it did. And when Susan and I were in the hospital in Pleasanton, and the hospitalist, the doctor, was describing the diagnosis and the cure, I was laying in the bed in a fetal position, really physically ill. And in that moment, as he described what was happening and what was about to happen, I realized I didn't have a hammer for that situation. In fact, I couldn't even judge what the consequences were going to be going forward. So thanks to the Foundations class and some of those other CSL classes and Dr. Tom's book, I was able to say a spontaneous prayer. And I'm going to share with you that prayer. I immediately set a treatment for myself, my family, the team of physicians, the nurses, that all would unveil and unfold in perfect order and in perfect time, and that we were all one and unified in spirit, resulting in the best possible outcome. Now I'm laying in this bed all curled up, and I said that. I said it inside. Self-talk. Good self-talk for a change. Good self-talk. And I can recall right now, even today, the feeling of peace I had when I said, I release this into the law, and it is already done. And so it is. I felt completely at peace. I was feeling empowered. I was feeling included in this. There was no need to figure out who the doctor was. There was no need to figure out what the process was, who the nurses were, where the hospital. It was all handled. Every detail was handled. It was incredible. My hospital ordeal lasted 5 days. We did this in Paula, Stanford. There were numerous miracles that occurred in those 5 days. And I have to confess, I wasn't worried through the whole thing. I was just at peace with it. And my wife even asked me, are you scared? And I really wasn't scared. Everything was in perfect order, perfect time. It just rolled right out. I'm extremely grateful for those people at Stanford, the physicians, the nurses, everybody. The cleaning crew, they were fantastic. I greatly appreciate all of you in this community who prayed for me while I was there. It was very, very comforting. And of course, I'm very grateful for the love and support of my family. It was just really special. Since I returned from this surgery in August, I kind of re-inventoried my toolbox. There are no hammers. Okay? There are no hammers. The most important tool is the ability to give a spontaneous treatment. And it takes practice. You know, when you go to that foundations class and you write your first treatment, it's not easy. And when you write the second one, it's harder than the first one. But eventually, it starts to work for you and you get in a flow. And so, I think that's really important. Oh yeah, on the judgment part, that ideally, I've kind of moved that closer to the ideal. I'm not saying I'm there yet, I've just moved it closer on the judgment. And when I'm talking about doing a treatment, I'm not talking about doing a treatment just for the big males, the big events. It's not necessary. Every day, in every way in our lives, there's an opportunity to do a spontaneous treatment. There may be something that's not feeling very good, and you can treat your way right out of that. In other words, you're elevating your thought. You're not dealing at the low level in the details. So that's a lesson I've learned. I guess I have to say one other thing about doing the treatment too. As a practitioner, I've had the opportunity to review some treatments that people have written, and I've reviewed my own, my early ones. And it's really, really important to get the right level when you're doing your treatment. Because as the reading, as Diane did in the reading, you know, the law is the law. If you're limited and you're little, you get little results. Okay. So let me give you an example of that. If I'm in need of employment, and I say, I'm seeking the perfect job for my financial well-being. Well, that sounds pretty good. But I would rather phrase it this way. I'm seeking the perfect opportunity to support my well-being. It's subtle. But to me, there's a big, big difference. Because Spirit's working for you in both cases. In the first case, you're going to find some money and you're going to find a job. In the second case, you're going to find an opportunity, a viable, vibrant opportunity that you may not even expect will show up because you're so focused on a job and money. So you just don't know what's going to happen. But let me give you an example of my own treatment at Stanford. If I had said, I wanted the surgery team to be the best surgery team for pituitary tumors, I would have been limiting myself, limiting the team. Rather, I treated the surgeons who would be empowered for the best possible outcome. And that's what I got. That's exactly what I got. Now here's a little side note. There were 6 teams, I count 6 teams, I don't know how many Stanford counts, but there were 6 teams of people working on me. And I'm not that special, that's just the way they do things. The neurosurgeon had been at Stanford 2 months. His name wasn't anywhere, anyplace. He didn't have business cards. He had been there that short time. Interestingly enough, his expertise is removing pituitary tumors. And by the way, this is all solid because they actually do the surgery through your nose. And if you want details, I'll talk to you about that later. But I had an ENT, and she happens to be one of the finest ENTs in all of Stanford that did the surgery. They moved your sinuses out of the way so the neurosurgeon could go to work. I had 3 people on the anesthesiology team. They were great. They came and talked to me. They told me. Of course, they gave me a little juice, so I think they talked to me. But everybody was great. The nurses were fantastic. I had a nurse. She was this tall. Her name was Cheryl. She only went there 34 years. She knew exactly what to do, and she had me on a short leash the whole time. It was great. So my prayer worked. My treatment worked. I had the absolute best. So in conclusion, I just wanted today to bring awareness to this foundations class. If you haven't attended it, if you were like I was, and you really weren't sure what the content is, I think Reverend Harriet does a really good job with this and telling us just to say yes. So the next time foundations comes up, just say yes and go. Because you're going to put a new tool in your toolbox. And it's a very, very valuable tool. A tool that we all have and we can use every day. And if you're praying or you're treating, just remember your level, what you're really treating for. Are you for a specific? Because if you're looking for a specific, you may get a specific at the expense of something much greater. Now, we went ahead and got 10 copies of this. My wife has them somewhere. They're over on the table, I guess. Oh, she has them right here. If you want to get a copy of this book, it's $5. The proceeds go to CSL Livermore Valley. If we run out of these books, then you can contact CSL Palm Desert. You can try Amazon, but they're not really in print there, but there are at CSL Palm Desert. I encourage you to read this book. It not only helped me, but it's short. So that concludes my comments. So let's pray. God is the infinite love that rules the universe through the law of being. God is woven into the fabric of the universe. God is all-inclusive. God is the oneness of all and for all. God is omnipresent in the unexpected. God is infinite love. I declare there is one God, one mind. I am one with that mind. I am infinite love. I am a complete child of God. What joy to know that all that I am is the wholeness and perfection, this infinite goodness. As I know this about myself, I effortlessly recognize this about each and every one of you are God's goodness. You are God's expression. You live oneness, now and forever. You're God's perfection and completion now. We are one, and as this goodness, fully conscious and aware of who we are. From this place of oneness, I claim and accept this goodness surrounds and embraces each of us with calm, and the knowing all is presented in perfect time and with perfect clarity. We are empowered with a knowing that oneness abundantly provides for our worldly needs. We are mindful to choose our words and let the divine determine the best possible outcome. I express my overwhelming gratitude for knowing these extraordinary lights who have chosen to live a life of oneness filled with overflowing with love. I now release this word